Hey guys, how you doing? So in this video, we're going to learn an important investing lesson by looking at the Apple stock, what has happened to the Apple stock over the last year. So to get straight to the point, one of the biggest investment mistakes I've ever made was selling. That's something Warren Buffett talks about. He says, choose your investments very wisely, and one or two investments per year is all you need to do. And when you do buy, have the intention that you're going to hold that investment for forever. He says forever. I say at least 7 years. So one of the mistakes I made back in 2007 is I bought a bunch of Apple stock, and within a short period of time, a year or whatever it was, I made like 60% of my money, which is stellar. And I knew Apple was going to become the biggest tech company in the world, but I had no idea it was going to become the biggest company in the world. But anyway, after it hit 60%, I felt like a stud. I sold the stock, and it went down for about 6 months or so after I sold it. And I was feeling like a total master. But then it started going back up. And psychologically, it was weird. I didn't want to go back into it after I had made 60%, which is kind of stupid. Anyway, so I never got back into it years later. And this literally, and I'm not exaggerating, literally cost me millions of dollars in lost stock accumulation. So that's the synopsis of the lesson. So let's just jump into the chart here. So you see the Apple chart. We're looking at it today. So this is the 1 year chart. You say I selected 1 year, I have year to date, 1 year. So this goes back 365 days. And you see how it went up to 195, and then it went down to 174, and then 189, and all the way down to 166. I can tell you, each and every time that the stock would drop, some people that I know who are not experienced investors would say to me, "Oh my God, you got to get out of this. It's terrible. It's tanking, Steph. It's at 177." And I'd say, "No, I've learned my lesson. My $2 million lesson." Was it two? It was about $2 million. $2 million lesson. I've learned it. And so it kept going down. It was down here. They go, Steph, oh my God, Steph, Then it crept up. And anyway, you see the action, right? It keeps going up and down, but the trend is up. So right now, as I'm talking, we're at 205 US dollars. I'm way up on my Apple stock again, way up. But I would have been way up. That's more than 2 million. What I'm talking about is like 3 million by now, maybe 3.5. If I had kept from 2008. Anyway, so that's the lesson. Don't sell when you see things go down. You have to have a long-term time horizon for your investments, and you don't want to make the mistake I made of selling too early. So if you go back 5 years, if you bought 5 years ago, your stock would be up 326%. So you put $1 million, you'd have 3.26 million. You put 100,000, you have 326,000. You get the idea. So invest for the long term into investments that you have a lot of confidence in. Now, normally, I would say don't invest in any individual company unless you really know the business well. I happen to be a nerd. I've been a nerd for 3 decades. I understand technology quite well. So I invest on the occasion in technology businesses like Apple, but that's rare. Most of my investment is in the S&P. That's what I would recommend. Invest in the S&P 500. That's a basket of stocks, as you can see. If you go back a year, you're up 23% on the year. You go back 5 years, you're up 85%. Not as good as Apple, which was up 300% over 5 years, but 85% on 5 years. You almost doubled your money in 5 years, which is fantastic. So there you go. That's today's lesson. Do not make the mistake I made. Do not make the mistake I made and sell your winners because you want to take a profit. Timing the market, being able to figure out when the stock is the best time to sell, when to buy back in, and so on. This is pure luck. You'll get it sometimes, but most of the time you won't get it right. So when you do invest, think once, twice, 3 times, 5 times, and make sure that your psychological conviction with the investment is that you're going to keep it for at least 7 years. That's how I look at Apple and my other investments. Even if they're down, I don't care because I'm not thinking about selling them today. I'm thinking about, for me, this is like, many years from now. I might sell. That's about it. Anyway, that's it. I hope you found this useful. Learn from Uncle Steph. Learn from my mistakes. The other lesson you should learn is never write anything in Ruby. That's a joke.